Today on Staples Showcase, we have a very special guest. She's probably most well known for her work with Fame Lady Squad and other women led projects. She's been around for quite some time, within that community, very active in many Zedrun Discord servers, along with Twitter. She joins many Twitter spaces to really find out what people are about. And it was a great honor to have her come onto the show because up until this point, she's never published her face on any of her crypto social medias. So I'm very happy to welcome our special guest, Winx.
Today we have with us Winx, slightly elusive, but happy to have her on the show for the very first time. First met her on Zedrun and then kind of bumped into her in other communities like Fame Ladies that I'm a part of. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited to have you.
My very first NFT interview.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, so like I said, I first bumped into you in Zedrun.
Yeah.
How did you find it and what drew you to it?
My husband found it. A friend of his messaged him, and he's a big in real life horse racing fan, and so he just had a friend who had seen the Facebook ads for Zed and messaged him and said, "Hey, you doing this? It sounds right up your alley because we're into horse racing, we're into online gaming and stuff." So he said, "Look, it's digital horses. You've got to be in this." So that's how we first found out about it and got into it. And then Zedrun got us into the rest of NFTs because then we discovered it was a whole world after that.
So Zedrun was your first true exposure then to the NFT space?
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's been your experience with Zedrun so far?
Honestly, it has really taken a step back. So we've really kind of moved on to more other NFTs. So I'd say I do like Zed really part-time now compared to at the start. But when we started, it was in April. So, breeding was closed. It was right after a drop had happened, so we're waiting for the next drop. So I feel like when we were most on board was when everything was kind of locked up and stagnant, and now everything's taking off, and I've kind of got juggling responsibilities and commitments and pursuits and other NFTs. So I'm trying to do more Zed stuff, but there's just so much going on now, and I'm like just trying to keep up with everything that's happening, all the changes.
So is it the constant rate of change that made you guys draw back, or did something else happen?
No, nothing significant. It was just getting into the rest of the NFT space. And, you're just trying to juggle all the different things in NFT time, which a week is like a whole month. So
yeah, I say we live NFT space in dog years because it's just so hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So what was the most fun you've had, or what was the point that you were enjoying the game the most?
I think like right in the middle of summer, around July, is when we were reading it opened up. Yeah. And like rushing into that, and that's when all the other streamers had started running tournaments. I think we did the first zombies, their first donkey tournament. That was like the first one we jumped into because we had some donkeys. So that was like the height of it, and then that was NFT summer. So that's when we started finding out about everything else. But that was the main, and we were on vacation at the time too, so we were spending a lot of our time doing Zed. Yeah.
Oh, that's not a good way to spend vacation.
Sorry.
So that's not a great way to spend vacation.
For us, we were loving it. We thought it was great. We're like, yes, we got time off. We can do this. So it was, yeah. And it's also just been the last year and a half, whatever, with lockdowns and everything. Like we weren't too hot on going out and going elsewhere. So staying in and doing Zedrun was pretty fun. And and then that's when we got to the height of there was that 1 week really where races were taking like 16 hours to get into.
Oh yeah. I think that was the first tell of tragedy to come.
Yeah. So it was all around that time. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
The things that we used to have to do, and people think
I
it's better
know, you
now.
load up your horses and then wait for them to run like hours later.
Yeah. Now, did the two of you run your stable together, or did you have your own independent stables?
We now have like independent stables, mostly so because I'm worse at racing the horses, but doing the breeding, the discount works out better when it's between
Yep.
two stables, and you just end up with so many horses trying to filter them through. So we just sort of divided everything up, and then race whenever we want to from there. And if we want a different horse, then we'll just swap it.
I gotcha. That's fair enough. Now, what was your second project you got into?
I actually think it was Chicken Derby.
Okay. I think that's a logical progression for most of us. I think that was
Yeah.
probably the second Z adjacent project I was a part of too. So
Yeah. I think a bunch of us went over to that, and I mean, they started doing their test runs and stuff, but not too much movement in that, as you probably know. But I really appreciate just how they always give pretty detailed updates weekly, and have images of like what we can expect. So I'm waiting for that one to come out.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely a different style of play.
Yeah, but after Chicken Derby, it was the Fame Lady Squad.
Okay.
So I just missed the mint for that. I found out 8 hours after it dropped.
Oh wow.
And it sold out very, very fast because it was the first all-female avatar project. And I had FOMO for a few weeks until prices came down, and I was trying to find the one that I wanted. And I was also like still fairly new into NFTs, and we as like doing it with someone else, when you look at the Z horses and how much they cost and stuff, like we discuss it there, and what the benefits were. But when I want a profile pic, an avatar, am I going to spend this much money on it? It was still so early in that space where I was like thinking of how much USD it was, and that's so expensive for just a JPEG. And now I've learned a lot more, and own a lot more NFTs. But that was my first one that wasn't like a game NFT that had other utility to it. So it's interesting.
Can you speak to kind of what happened with that? Because I got in, I don't think it was too much after the drop. I think I paid 0.17 for mine, and it wasn't too far above floor at the time.
Like with the whole Russian men thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I bought mine. I got a backwards cap lady for 0.15.
Okay.
And which I thought was a really good deal. I can't remember if it was for that one then, but that was 4 days before everything happened.
Yep.
So what had happened was there was basically it's just 3 guys from Russia, and I think there had been a bit of speculation beforehand that got stamped out, but they presented themselves as women. They had, and in the space, a lot of people are anonymous. So they did have the website where they had their Fame Lady avatars, which is not unusual for projects. They pick their own avatars, but they gave themselves names like Cindy and something like it was definitely female names. And like they said, one was from the US, one was from like Canada. They weren't saying that they were from Russia at all. So they definitely been misleading. And Fedor, I've got his handle somewhere for Twitter. He actually started investigating who was actually behind it, because after Fame Ladies, a few other female-based projects popped up very quickly with similar looking art, similar wording. And the other thing that stood out to him was some of the traits of the Fame Ladies are very Russian-based. So if you're based in America, Australia, the UK, you wouldn't have looked at those traits and thought anything of them. But to him, because he's from Russia, they were very clearly Russian. So there was the morgue tattoos, based off a Russian rap artist, I think. Okay. And the halo in the traits was named Nimbus or Nim, which is Russian for the halo. So to him, there was a lot of things that were sticking out, and the tipping point was, I cannot remember the name of it now, but there was a new women made and all female avatar project. I can't remember the name, but it was about um, Black women specifically. And it was all going to be fundraising and education, all aimed at helping Black women and other women of color. And there was just a few red flags with that one as well. And he was getting into matching up some of the transactions where the contracts were paying to, and seeing a lot of things crossing over and linking to the same ones. And he finally did link them. Three main projects, I think it was, he linked to these devs from Russia, and that's when we had the big. He was rushing to tell everyone because we were trying to beat this drop of this other project, which he couldn't quite prove that one, if I remember correctly, but it all imploded. They shut down their whole Discord, they deleted it, like they disappeared.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but they did confess to being guys, and there was a whole lot of backlash from everyone, obviously. And then Board Becky got up on Twitter and sort of doxed herself. She filmed a video saying how upset she was, and she loved the community and wanted to keep it together. And then with basically everyone's pressure from Twitter and Art Chick or Punk, I can't remember what she goes by now.
Yeah.
Punk 467 something. Just put pressure on them to hand over the contract to the new team, and now we've started all fresh and going, I think, pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an iconic historic project going forward. I just don't think it's going to be quite the same way that it was originally intended.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we've already made some changes. The original team did like a crown drop. It's like an extra, kind of like the companion NFT, but we've got a project in the works to trade in the crowns for Winx. So, because when we first took over, it was going to be called. We're looking at renaming it like Phoenix Ladies or Phoenix Project or something, like Rising from the Ashes.
Yeah,
but because everything was handed over to us, we kept the name. And but everyone, the community, all voted on the roadmap and chose Winx. So it will be, hopefully, it should be January, I think, that they'll be dropping to trade in or mint.
Okay. And I saw, was that the sketch you posted a week or so ago?
Yes.
Or might have been a little bit longer than that. That was being done live.
Yes.
Or not live, but recorded.
Yeah, I only retweeted it last night. I missed when she posted, but she posted about a week ago.
Okay.
Our artist. So that was good to see, because we've been eagerly awaiting, but it took a little while to find an artist, because we really wanted to have a female artist for it, especially after everything. But then we needed to match the style, and we kind of wanted to do it so that they could also be able to be like edited onto your lady. So trying to fit wings that fit in the square of your PFP was, she had a challenge, but she's done really well. So
are the wings going to be fully randomized, or are they going to match up a little bit, or can we have any details on that before it drops?
Yeah, it is going to be all random generated, but they have picked colors that are complementary to what we've already got with the ladies. She's done really well for making sure they match, because I know with some of the crowns they were just random. And
yeah, I wasn't very happy with mine, I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah, that was a big thing that people weren't happy with. So she's been working to make sure that they do have some fit to the ladies.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm excited to see how that works out.
Me too. It's they've done really well.
How what other projects are you excited about or a part of?
Gosh, a lot. We're into a lot of the gaming NFTs.
Okay.
most still in beta or being developed altogether, which makes me a little bit worried for next year when everything goes live. I don't know how I'm gonna manage doing so many things that are going to come at the same time. But those ones interest me the most just because like I just like gaming and games. So seeing the utility and everything they put together for those, I find very exciting. There is another project that Lethia AI, some artificial intelligence pods that I think just 10 projects. I don't even know if we're technically partnered with, but only 10 projects are available to like fuse your PFP with them. So like Bored Apes, Fame Ladies, Boss Beauties. Who else was on there? I think Pudgy Penguins. Those sort of projects are involved with it. So they're creating some AI intelligence that you'll be able to fuse with your PFP NFT and create this whole personality that can do amazing big things that I'm still trying to understand. So that's all coming. It's exciting, everything that's coming in.
I'm gonna have to check that one out because I haven't heard of that one yet.
It's I kept hearing it mentioned, and then when I tried to look into it, it sounded very confusing. I had to do a lot of reading to try and even understand a little bit of it. But they were at NFT New York.
Okay.
I made a big presentation there, but I'll send you some links to those because it looks very interesting. And I found some other projects just through YouTube where people are training out AI projects. So it's crazy what's happening.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we're training technology to make something that's kind of creating itself and then seeing how that plays out. Because then it kind of argues like, what is art and why is art, and we don't even need to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it's the whole space is just insane. Like just all the different bubbles that there are as well. Like there's gaming, there's like the PFPs, then you've got like DeFi stuff. I'm hearing rumors that like music NFTs will be a big thing. I don't even understand how that will work.
So I think they already are. I just think it's more of a cult following. Like you either know the artist that's doing it or you don't.
Yeah.
Because when I first started researching NFTs, there's a few artists that were like the first videos I watched on like what an NFT is and how does an NFT work. And they were all like really big musicians in the UK that because of lockdown, they had to do virtual performances.
Yeah.
So they were doing all kinds of really interesting things. I'll try to find some links for you on that.
I've seen a lot of events being done in Decentraland,
mm-hmm.
but my computer struggles to take me through.
I can't run Decentraland at all. It's just like
I'd love to participate, but it's a struggle. And I don't know why, but I can't figure out how to make my little person walk. She just runs everywhere.
Oh, mine like freezes mid-frame and then just stays there.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
So I've missed all the fun events.
When that's a bit more easier to do, I'm definitely going to try and do that. But I went to the Zedrun headquarters opening and got my little Zed t-shirt.
Nice.
Did you go to that?
No, I couldn't. I wasn't able to get through.
It took me a while. I think MJ Stables was streaming it, and I didn't realize that you were in. I guess because you could have so many people there. There's like different layers of it. So I could see on the stream they were all up in this like cocktail bar up the top, and I'm running around there and I cannot see anyone because I was in a different like layer of it.
Okay.
I was like watching their stream and I'm like, where is everybody? I can't figure it out.
Why am I not at the party?
Yeah, it's all by myself in an empty room.
Well, at least you were there. And you got the shirt to prove it, so.
Yes, I did.
Now, we've kind of, talked a little bit offline, but how many people or how many females do you think are in the NFT space compared to the perception? Because I know it's really challenging because a lot of the projects that are first coming out, it's the first of their kind. They're probably not taking a lot of consideration in, so they are kind of male featured projects just
Yeah.
based on the way they look and everything. And if you want to be a part of the community, there wasn't a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
Obviously, the community is getting better, but that whole mistaken identity, is it? How is that? Do you feel?
I think there is a lot more women that we don't even realize, just lurking.
Yeah.
I think like a big part of it is trying to learn everything, and then like you said, like we're very early, so a lot of projects are very male representative. So yeah, you won't really know from using a profile picture or whatever if you know what gender someone is, and then because they'll tend to lurk and just listen in and try to learn. I think it's very easy to not know how many are out there. Even
Mm-hmm.
since all the Women of Zed events have been coming out, we set up a Discord server and have had more and more women jumping in this week that we didn't even know were playing the game. So
Wow.
it's been really good. It's been good.
Now, do you think that's partially by design? Do you think it's an uncomfortable environment to kind of expose more of yourself and kind of be yourself in, or do you think it's just
Yeah,
a complete misrepresentation by the community?
I think it's just in general, like with society and being online and stuff like that, as a whole. Like we did talk about it in the server and in other spaces. I've chatted with women, and for the most part, I find a lot of women just prefer not to let everyone know that they are a woman, just because you do get creeps in DMs, or you get called horrible names just for existing, and so it's just easier to not make it obvious that you're a woman, just to avoid all of that. Um, and like that was something I sort of noticed a bit even with Zed, um, in the beginning when we first got Joe on board. There was a stream that she went on and did an interview with, and there was Joe and then Chris Eveling, and in the chat it was crazy. It was there was a lot of people in the chat saying how great Chris was, and they were glad he was there, and saying that they're happy with what he was saying. And then we're just insulting Joe and calling her horrible names and saying that the Discord was crap because of her, and we're just attacking her for. And then I didn't want to speak in the chat because it just felt so aggressive, and it was like
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable to be in there. So that's sort of, I think, is a lot better now. General just seems a whole lot. The Discord general seems a lot less troll infested than it did a few months ago.
I would
And
definitely agree.
yeah, and for the most part, I think most of the guys in the Z community are fantastic. So I don't know, maybe just at the beginning it was pretty bad, but yeah, for the most part, I think just to avoid that, and when you're on Twitter or in Discord, there's just, you don't know who's there and who's a weirdo. So
Right.
yeah, for a safety aspect. Yeah.
It's funny too how people who don't necessarily expose who they are, it kind of feels like they give themselves extra permission to hopefully be more aggressive than they are in real life, just because there isn't any direct consequences.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's definitely a huge part of it, and like it is annoying. Like I was pretty happy to dox myself, I guess. Mainly because I just like to be a bit more transparent anyway about who I am, and then I feel like I'm a bit more approachable to other people. But it's been annoying that I feel a lot of women do feel like they have to prove that they're a female, because then they just get accused of being a man, and then the only reason you have to do that is because men have lied about who they are and misrepresented who they are to get to profit off of it. So it's like we have to do the extra work to prove what a lie that some other guy did, which is a bit frustrating. But I don't know. For the most part, like I think the space is great. I don't get too many awful DMs or anything like that. I don't know if I scare a lot of people off. No one really bugs me, so I'm good. But yeah, I've had a lot of other experiences from other women, so
I know you've definitely been speaking your mind about people who are not being pleasant to others lately.
yeah.
Probably more so than what you were before. So I appreciate you calling them out when you need to.
Thank you. I do. I feel like when something, I feel a lot more confident speaking up for other people than for myself. So a lot of the time, if I'm saying something, it's not even a big deal to me, but I know someone else or a few other people who are experiencing something, so I say it for them. So then that way they don't have to, and then it doesn't bother me too much if it turns into an argument or something because it wasn't really my experience. So sometimes when I tweet stuff, I think some people have I could be having one conversation in Discord and then they see me tweet something and they think I'm talking about a conversation I'm having with them, and I'm like, no, this is for someone else about something else completely. Yeah, it's just I just would rather speak up and help everyone else out a bit more. And
Well, I appreciate you stepping up for everybody. I'm sure they do too.
Yeah, no, everyone's good for the most part, and I don't know. I feel like when you say something, a lot of the time, a lot of like the trolls will step back because other people join in and support you, and then they don't really want to. There's no real fun if everyone's agreeing with you or on like
right.
like there's nothing fun for them to do there, so they'll scuttle off.
I gotcha. Now, you mentioned, uh, being a fan of gaming and stuff. What kind of games did you traditionally play? And has NFTs kind of taken you completely away from that?
Yes. So I know when most people talk about gaming, it's more like PlayStation console stuff. I did that when I was real little, but mostly it was mobile games. The big one that I was into was the Game of Thrones Conquest.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard that one. It's a mobile game. It's like those strategy war games, but it was all pay to play. So
oh wow,
I've done a 180. I've gone from pay to play to pay to earn. Hopefully, a bit more than.
hopefully that's refreshing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that game I played for a few years, and I've made a lot of friends online that I've then met in real life, and we've been friends for years. It's actually where I met my husband.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was in Australia and he was here in the US, and that's how we met. And in the clan that we're in, I think there's been like 3 or 4 other people who met and got married, and like some have kids now. It's crazy. But yes, because we were playing 24/7. You'd be messaging people in the middle of the night. You're getting attacked. Put a shield up, and I'd have to wake up at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning to do raid battles with the rest of the clan because it was America like Friday nights. That's when seats of power and stuff open. So that was like my whole life for a couple of years, and now I've replaced all of that with the NFT space, which is a whole lot better. I like sunk so much money into those other games.
Is there any up and coming games that you're really excited then for the NFT space?
Yes. So one that is chugging along nicely now is Crypto Raiders.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I've heard of it, but I haven't looked into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good. It's coming along, so we do like little dungeon raids, and I think our monsters are all revealing this week. I've one good like a good level monster that has not revealed yet. I've been waiting for like a month to see what it looks like. So I'm excited to see that this week. But they're good because they have a lot of staking and liquidity pools and stuff involved to get the whole inner game tokenomics and economy. So that's the stuff that's pretty interesting.
Now, is there? So you kind of got into the NFTs for Zedrun and the Play to Earn, and then you
Mm.
transitioned into the profile pics. What's the most um, surprising thing that you've kind of learned in the blockchain ecosystem slash capabilities and stuff? Is it the AI generated stuff we talked about earlier, or is there something else that you kind of learned that you're happy you found but couldn't believe was happening? Type.
Um, I think the whole, I mean, I guess it's not too much in the NFT space, but the whole DeFi
Yeah.
stuff just blows my mind because I would never have called myself, and I still don't, um, think I'm very like finance savvy. But then finding out, like when people said that they did crypto for a living, I was just thinking like, what are they just like day trading it? And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
finding out, well, there's staking, there's liquidity pools, there's nodes, there's there, there is trading, there's learning and everything. There is so much out there, and it's so complicated to try and learn it. But the people who know what they're talking about, they make it sound very easy, but it's insane. Like, yeah, I'm still trying to learn it, and I'd like to learn more. Um, and the real estate sort of aspect of it, I've started listening into some chats by real estate agents who are coming into the NFT space, and you got things like like the Sandbox and Ethereum Towers. I don't know if you've heard of that project
I
yet.
was looking at it right before we got on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So all of that is, I think, I think a lot of the gaming stuff now is that might be like it's on now, but I think it'll be like the next thing. Like I think next year when they're all live and booming, it's going to be a big thing. But then I think the whole real estate thing is going to come in soon.
Owning virtual space and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And like I'm still trying to grasp how these things work and what like most for the most part I'm just like I'm early and I know this is going to be a good thing. I don't understand how it's going to be a good thing or how it's fully going to be utilized in the future, but I can see the potential for a lot of things.
Yeah. It's funny because I was playing a mobile game that I didn't realize was supposed to be an NFT game. And I
Oh,
don't fully understand that if it is or not, but it was a mobile real estate game where you buy real life properties. It's called Upland, but it
okay.
pretty much like launched in like San Francisco virtually, and
Yeah.
then you could buy properties in San Francisco, and then you would gain a daily, pretty much by the minute um, rent, and then you could use that to purchase more properties and stuff. And
Oh,
then
wow.
then I learned about NFTs like 6 months later. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I was early. I guess that's cool.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's cool. So did you find that stuff before Zed?
yeah, I did because I've always been kind of business oriented. I've always had a couple, side hustles. I've started a few small businesses and either
Mm.
decided it wasn't actually for me because I didn't like the actual business functionality, or
Yeah.
I just didn't know what I was doing, and my lack of experience made it not work out.
Yeah.
So any type of business simulator, I was always downloading and playing and messing around with. I'm like, well, this one just sits there and keeps on giving me more points to buy more property with, doing nothing. So I'll just keep it for a while.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to watch.
No, that's good. Yeah, I think that's the other interesting thing with this space is all these different people with different skills and interests coming together. So many people are business orientated, which I'm not at all.
Mm.
I've always been much more a people person. Always worked in like frontline jobs before, but I do like being virtual now. I like working from home and not having to go into an office, but I still like engaging with people, um, which which I think has been very helpful for me, like in this space, because I've been able to connect with a lot of good people, learn about new projects. Like if I had to just search for them myself, I would probably never look at some of the stuff that I've gotten into. But by meeting the right people and having really good conversations and learning from them, that's where I've been able to get into some really good stuff. And I think that's where like most of the value is. I think a lot of projects that launch don't do well because they don't really have the community built. when they launch, and I think that makes or breaks a lot of projects.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then you see some projects that have like 200,000 Discord members and they don't even have a website, and it's like, how is this even like? Is everybody just on a pipe dream here? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Is the
Yeah.
project ever going to launch?
Yeah. It's funny actually because I was thinking earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Zedrun even have like a roadmap? Like technically?
I don't think they do.
Because
At
I
least
was
not one
thinking,
that I've seen. I know they have the white paper, but I
yeah,
haven't seen an official roadmap of any kind.
because I was reading through another project that I was looking at, and just going through their guide, and it kind of just the way it was all set up, it reminded me of like the Zedrun website, how their guides are set up. But then they had a roadmap on the side, and they ticked off what they'd done already, and I thought, I don't actually think I've ever seen anything like this on Zedrun. And then I was sort of thinking, like, it was crazy, like how big it is, and just the whole thing. And I think just everyone is very into the idea and can see the potential with it. Because I was going, if I would, normally when I look at projects and I'm like, what have they done? Is there a roadmap? Is there this or is there that? There's a lot of things that doesn't have at all. And I'm like,
Right.
if I was now looking at it, I may not even. It might take me a while to tick some of the boxes to move into it, which I thought was funny looking back on it.
When you're looking into a project, what are some of the key indicators of something that you're comfortable moving into moving in on it and either buying secondary or trying to get it on the mint?
For the most part, I definitely need backup from my husband because I've picked some. I mean, I've picked some good ones and I've picked some bad ones, and you just need that one like person to say, no, yeah, I think this is good too for you to like go into it. I'm wary to go into a lot of things now, but mostly I think at this point now I need someone that I'm already um, friends with to introduce me to it. I'm just because I'm in quite a bunch of just because I'm in quite a few things now. I'm not. I'm kind of like my bandwidth for anything is pretty low. So at this point, it's someone that I trust has got to say, no, this is good, and then going through their white paper, checking out the community, seeing that they've got things set up. Like it is a red flag when they don't have a Discord or they don't have a website or some sort of roadmap and proof of who they are and what that they can do what they're doing. And yeah, it's hard because you want to try and be in early enough to gauge all of these things and check them off before feeling pressured to get into anything. I think we've all FOMO'd into something that turned out to be really bad. So
Couple things.
yeah, trying to get in early enough so you can assess those things, because I think there are a lot of visible red flags if you get in early enough to see them rather than when it's sort of too late. But I mean, there's a lot of things I've heard of on the day of mint, and I've gone, I don't have the time to assess this, I'm not going to do it, and I've regretted it. A few where I'm like, God, why didn't I just jump in there? But
any that come to mind?
That wolf sheep wool thing.
Oh, I was not minting that. I did not care what was going on.
Even looking at it, I'm not okay. This isn't me saying that it is a good project, but I do know a few people who did jump in, took profits, and they're fine. And yeah, sometimes, and then there's been a few copycat ones that come out, and I'm never good at picking those. Like a lot of the copycat projects launch, and some of them just flop, and then some of them take off. I'm never good at picking which one of those is going to be good and which one's going to be crap, so I just avoid them altogether now. Yeah,
I'd probably safer that way. When you're looking at a white paper, for somebody who isn't kind of acquainted with NFTs as well, what are things that completely just turn you off right away, and what are things that you look for as a positive, this is something that I want to investigate more on?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends what kind of project it is.
Okay.
Um, so, like, I guess for ones like with gaming and stuff that have utility and stuff with them, backing from other companies or like funding. So, I'm trying to think of examples of what I'm talking about. So, take the Alethea AI one. They have really taken care of like the business side of things on the outside. They've gone and gotten funding from other reputable companies that are already established in the real world,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like a docs team um, that have like a resume showing that they can do everything that they are promising that they're going to do and investigating what they're going to do there. Um, Man, I'm having mind blank now.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine.
um, yeah, man, I'm just drawing a blank now.
It's all right. We can add notes later.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
it's completely okay. What So when somebody asks you about NFTs or you're trying to explain to them NFTs, what do you tell them about, like, say, Fame Ladies that doesn't have obvious utility? You know, how could you spend that much money on that project? What's your or on that picture? You know, what's your response?
That's a hard one. I mean, at this point now, it's definitely the community and like the long term like branding and potential with it. The one
Yeah.
thing Fame Ladies does have going for it that other PFP projects don't have is that the holder has complete IP
Mm-hmm.
rights to that. So not all, and I don't know if everyone knows this or if some of these projects have even specified what rights they actually have. I think Zed just came out and updated their terms and conditions to outline that
Yeah,
you don't really have IP ownership of your
I
of
think
your
that was more of a traditional blanketed statement, so
yeah
people don't go out and try to do anything that would tarnish the brand.
yeah
Especially because some of the investors they have, you know,
yeah for
the
sure
more hands in the pot, you know, the
yeah.
more you have to protect them.
But I think that's just like I don't think anyone really thought about whether they did or didn't
Mm-hmm.
until that sort of came out. But and like some other projects, they don't actually have full or even any IP rights. I think Boss Beauties is one that has like partial IP rights because they are putting printed editions of things like in the New York Stock Exchange. They've branded with Marvel and Target. They'll be launching things with those as well, and they'll be using um, the NFTs from the collection. So if you are a holder of one of the ones that's selected, you'll be earning extra royalties. But that also means that there are strict restrictions on what you can do because you can't be doing anything with your NFT that's going to tarnish their brand because they've got some
Right.
really good partnerships there that they need to protect and yeah, so they've got that on tight. But the good one with Family is you can literally do whatever you want. So
Yeah.
um, and we're trying to help educate the community on what that will be. So we're planning to do some workshops in the coming month to explain that a bit better to help educate everyone what they can actually go do and try and give everyone some creative ideas so they can incorporate their NFTs into their everyday side hustle or come up with a whole brand new one.
Yeah.
We've seen like a lot of the Bored Ape people launching side hustles that feature their ape
Mm-hmm.
and it just helps overall with the project with the overall branding. Like people recognize apes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're still early. Not everyone recognizes them when they go out, but they're one of the more recognizable ones. Um, so that's the main bonuses I think that has. But like trying to explain that to someone who's not into NFTs, they're still gonna probably think that's pretty overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
and not understand what the potential is there. The community is also a really big selling point. Like for me, when I first got into Fame Ladies, it was purely because it was an all-female project, and I was looking for. I wanted a community. I wanted like one space where I felt like I was with friends, with people like me. I wanted that more close knit community that I could grow in this whole space with. So then when it came out that it was Russian guys and it looked like we were going to lose the whole thing, I was so upset. I was devastated. But it's become that now. Like it's always active. There's always people in the chat. There's the same faces in the chat all the time, which is great. And you get the same people like popping in every month or so, saying hi, and every couple of weeks checking in, and they're really good in their like sharing what they're getting into, supporting each other's projects, helping answer questions, and it's just a really nice little spot to feel comfortable. And we also have a lot of fun in there. So we have a we have this general chat and this general chat after dark, which is just like a lot of gifts and crazy late night shenanigans. So it gets fun.
No, that's good to find those communities too. And I know for me, when I first started out, I I didn't understand the space, and I was worried that it would become almost territorial. Like you're either in this project or in that project because it is so limited. And I'm happy to see that hasn't been the case almost at all. If it's pretty much, if you're into NFTs, you're part of the community no matter what. So that was definitely refreshing, despite some of the other issues we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because there's a lot of crossovers of holders.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it sort of eliminates that, especially with us being so early. Like a lot of people are in, like you and I both in Fame Ladies, and both in Zed. We might even find more that we're in. I think I messaged you and said I was looking for my new like main lady that I would be using.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we were kind of looking for them.
Yeah, I was looking for the redheads, and then I was like opening all the ones in a new tab that I liked, and then yours was one of them. I was like, I don't think he's going to accept an offer on this one.
Nope. Veronica stays with me.
Yeah, and then it's funny actually because I then did remember because you've edited like I've seen you post like a picture of her, but it's like you got her name and you've got your
it's her name tag for the stable.
Yes,
that's her ID badge.
Yeah. So after I noticed that, I was like, that's right. I do remember seeing you tweet that out, and she looks great. You should actually put her in. Speaking about the projects, there's Fierce Studios NFT. They're I think, don't quote me, I'm going to say the first, and someone will definitely let me know if I'm wrong, like a modeling agency for NFTs.
Okay.
So I'll send you the link if you haven't heard of it yet, but they've partnered with Fame Ladies. So if you've got a lady and she's got her name and her own little personality going, you just write a little bio for her, and then she can be up for doing like affiliate contracts and stuff.
So, that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's a future thing that's coming in. Like it's just crazy, all the different bubbles and industries that are coming in and what they can do. It's nuts, but I mean, and that's one thing. That project and the AI one have really got me thinking, because I don't know if you've seen them. There are some I guess AI influencers. I don't know if you've heard of any of them. There's a couple of them, completely digital people. They're not real people. They're a digital character, and they have millions of followers on like Instagram and YouTube. And it is a character run by a company, and they get brand deals and they drop songs.
Interesting.
So that's. I'll have to send you some. I can't think of. A lot of them have like Japanese names, and I might be pronouncing them wrong anyway. So I want to check that do that. But yeah, like that's somewhere where this space can be going. So there's crazy stuff going on.
Oh yeah. Well, and I know like I've heard Gary Vee talk about NFTs because I heard of it for a long time, and I ignored it. I'm like, all right, well, I still have time. And then somebody sent me a link for Zedrun. I'm like, shit, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah.
But the thing that always interested me most was the intellectual property rights of your NFTs.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of like what you're saying, you know, build your own story and your own character and your own, you know, personality behind something as simple as a profile pic. That's kind of what I've been mapping out. Even all my horses, they each have, you know, pages and pages of bio and interactions and everything else I've been tracking. Because if you do get the IP rights to your projects, like you can make your own Disney, you can make your own Warner Brothers. You don't have to wait for the project to give you the utility. You can create your own utility with it.
Exactly.
I think that's what a lot of people are missing. Like I get so frustrated when someone's like, well, what are we gonna do next? Like, are we getting an airdrop? And I'm like, you own the rights. Like, go do your own thing with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's something I'm still trying to comprehend. I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
These days when I see what other people are doing and I realize, you know, all the opportunities that there are. But I think a lot of people do miss that when they're trying to explain what NFTs are. And it is a lot. It's a lot to sort of understand. But I think like the closest way you can sometimes describe it is saying that it's like if you have a business, you create a logo.
Yep.
And your branding. And so your PFP project is that, but it also comes with this extra community and whatever else they're doing. But if you try and think of it like that and then how you're going to use it, that's probably closer. But yeah, it's hard. I think until people get into it and start to, like, you just sort of realize it's hard to just tell someone off the street, especially when you're talking in like USD terms, like dollar value.
Especially some of them I still can't wrap my head around, like toads. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Some of those you can't explain. I don't get it.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
forgot about them for a minute. Yeah. I think I don't have that one, but there's another one that came out. I do have a toad, but it's not the toads. It's not the right one.
What's the biggest project you wish you would have got into but haven't?
I mean, I think actually, I was gonna say like Bored Apes or Punks, but those moon cats.
The moon cats. I know I've seen them, but they're kind of escaping me at the moment.
I think it's called moon cats. Yeah, not Crypto Kitties, moon cats. So that was a play to earn game, but that's been out since like 2017, and they've done a whole thing already. They like changed chain that they were on and like a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I probably can't afford to go into it now, but yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I wish I'd been there at the start.
Yeah.
But I also, to be honest, I think if I had heard of NFTs a couple of years ago, I'm not sure that I would have got in. Like I heard about crypto years and years ago, and in the beginning I was like, sounds like a scam. So it took a while for me to realize, and I think that's why now I try to at least try and investigate anything that sort of piques my interest, because I know sometimes it just pays to be early, honestly.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. Any parting words of caution, anything for people to come check out? Where can they find you online if you want them to find you?
Yeah, on Twitter is probably the main one. I don't think I ever used Twitter until NFTs. It didn't make sense to me. Now I love it so much. So, oh my god, it's Winx is my handle, because every other version of Winx was taken. Actually, I'll say that. So I chose Winx because, again, like I got in because of Zedrun, and I wanted to represent my favorite female real life racehorse, which is Winx. She's an Australian racehorse, the best in my opinion. She has 33 consecutive wins, which is a record.
Wow.
Her amazing horse. But Winx is also already like a brand and a kid's toy and all this stuff. So I settled for, I think my Discord name is Winx33 for her, 33 races. And then that stuck. So when it did come to a point where I decided I wanted to like transform my Twitter into my NFT persona, I pretty much got told that if I changed my name from Winx to anything else, no one would know who I was. So that one stuck. But yeah, that's my little signal to real life horse racing is the Winx.
I got you.
Check out Fame Lady Squad. Check out Zed, especially if you are a woman who is in Zedrun. We have a Discord server, so you can DM me for the link to that. Join us in there because we're trying to all come together and support each other a bit more in that. I think we've got a couple of ladies who are like we've got Bot Lady who streams, but I think we've got a couple others who are ready to start doing their own streaming and stuff for Zed as well, which I think will be pretty cool.
That's exciting.
And of course, check out Mike's YouTube channel.
I appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.